my dad's digi. Motherfucker fame, all my niggas lit it. Neighbor to the face, I don't smoke no Philly. Drippin' sauce like I'm chilly. Said that milk came to the floor when it's chilly. I got big booty bras at the telly. And end up from the store who was ready.
I can't fuck with none of y'all niggas, y'all disgust me. When you with your maggot ass friends, don't discuss me. Effing with a standing clip, I hope don't try to rush me. I hear him saying such and such a nigga ain't gon' touch me. Big body bitch, remember I used to be dusty. Now I want my money, y'all hunters in a rush, please. I was selling weed when they came out with white tee. Now I put a whole half a ticket on my white tee. Whole hood popping other niggas, they don't like me. Made her eat it up, she told her friend he gon' wipe me. All my niggas thoroughbred, on foot cross street. Free all of the bros down the road and on right street.
Hit that fast thing speeding through the city. Panoramic brain in my dad's digi. Motherfucker fame, all my niggas lit it. Neighbor to the face, I don't smoke no Philly. Drippin' sauce like I'm chilly. Said that milk came to the floor when it's chilly. I got big booty bras at the telly. And end up from the store who was ready. Put some fine bitches in my jellies. 2 new glass tenants, these spaghettis. Ain't gon' bash you bitches, I ain't petty. Just know we fucking, we ain't going steady. I don't wanna sleep, I need more eddies. I ain't had no kid, but I'm a daddy. Let her shake her ass like it's magic. 20s in my pocket, look like cabbage. Carrots everywhere, I'm a rabbit. I ain't sure they low, what was that name? You was told to go, keep that cannon. I'm a fucking gold, I can't panic. Hit that fast thing speeding through the city. Panoramic brain in my dad's digi. Motherfucker fame, all my niggas lit it. Neighbor to the face, I don't smoke no Philly. Drippin' sauce like I'm chilly. Said that milk came to the floor when it's chilly. I got big booty bras at the telly. And end up from the store who was ready.
Money conversation, check my phone, sway. How about Dolce Gabbana, Chanel?
Today, we're going to talk about the early CBB winners, NBA and NHL winners as well. And let's cash another squad ride, huh? This is Behind the Lines. I really want to fade Tiger today. I hate saying that. It doesn't feel right. I mean, who else has the sack to do it?
How are we not pairing this with Judge? Fading the GOAT, I feel like a Judge pairing is required.
You know, Jovan, I could be convinced, and I think I am.
The Sooners to take care of business by 4+ runs tonight. I think the offense for Oklahoma really picks it up when we have Kyson Witherspoon on the mound. I will take my chances that the offense is going to do enough to get this into a pretty ugly game.
There's not enough glue guys to go around, Jovan. They got no glue guys in that locker room in Philly. Zero. They got the opposite. They got the most toxic team of all time. They don't give a hoot. Let's leave them in the Big 2-4.
Have to.
At least for now.
Crabs,
I would have taken Peebles if he was up there.
I'm gonna mute.
Dude, there's no way we're talking about sped up videos.
Dude, he was cooking. He was absolutely cooking. What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Friday, the best BTL of the week, episode 653 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by Bookit Sports. If you're not using Bookit to track your bets, why don't you start up this weekend, right? Got a loaded college basketball Saturday tomorrow, one of the last ones of the year. Start tracking your bets on Bookit this weekend. All right, why not? Give it a shot. If you don't like it, you don't have to keep doing it, but I promise, way better chance you keep using that puppy. Go check out Bookit Sports if you have not already. The best bet tracking app out there by far on the App Store or Google Play. Jovan, we got Geek Good up and moving. We got you back in your studio. We got Jizang and Biombo in the background there. It's absolutely ridiculous. W. Daniel and W. Goods for getting that ready. Good to have you back. Feeling good heading into Friday.
Yeah, feeling great, Krabs. Up and
Sure.
moving.
I'm watching JT right now. Justin Thomas putting for birdie. Terrible putt. Goods looks like he still can't putt. We're going to work on that. He's going to work on that this weekend. He'll be all right. He's still 3 under. All right. We're in a good spot there. WB Joe Higgy coming in, dropping a resub. Let's go, B Joe. Atta boy. BTL Fridays always feed. Yes, sir. Sure. Pip coming in hot, talking about Bob Morris. Great call. It might just be Bob Morris's year. Can we get a quick Friday roll call from the GOATs real quick before we hop in and talk about some winners? I want to see what GOATs are in here on a BTL Friday, nice and early. All right, can we get some W's? Can we get some hand up emojis? Can we get some oys? Can we get some ones in the chat? I want to see who is involved. And yes, Shane Lowry, it might just be his day, folks. It might just be Shane Lowry day. He's tearing up the course out there. Gosh, unbelievable. What's up, GOATs? How we doing? Good to see all you guys in chat. We got Geek Goot back. Geek Goot, I believe, 1-0 on his third stream career. Good to see Geek Goot get one through the hoop last night on his third stream debut. W Whipsnakes crew. Yes, easy puck. Big day for the Whipsnakes. Although I'm still a Redwoods fan, first and foremost. Okay, so not a great day for the Redwoods. Rob Pinnell, Jovan, one of the GOATs in the PLL, is signing with the Whipsnakes.
Really?
Over here in Maryland. Big news in the
Huge
PLL.
news.
That's one of the best players in the league, who's trying to finish his career on a winning squad and maybe make another run for a championship before he hangs them up. Okay? All right, let's keep moving and grooving. All right, chat. No steamed crabs for today, unless we get a Justin Thomas, another missed putt here, and then we'll do an impromptu one. But for now, let's keep moving and grooving. We'll do the recaps from yesterday. Let's go ahead and pull up the squad rides. W play last night. W Queens. There we go.
All right.
There we go. Yeah, W Queens coming through. They almost won outright. They were hanging around. Jovan, I don't even think they could qualify for the NCAA tournament if they won their conference this year. I think they need one more year before they're even allowed to win their. Remember when Bellarmine won their conference a couple years ago and they couldn't go to the tournament, right?
Yeah, it's the first 2 years, right? So
it's first 4.
Oh, first 4.
Pretty sure it's the first 4 years you get called up, and they're on year.
I didn't realize they've been in. They haven't been in college for D1 for 4 years, right?
I think 3 years. Yeah, I think this is their 3rd year. So they might have one more season to sit out. Yeah, it looks like Cincy's saying they are not eligible until next year. Okay, so maybe this is year 4, or maybe this is year 2, and you're correct. Either way, I saw a tweet about this, talking about Queens, how they can't even make the tournament this year if they wanted to, but next year they are eligible. So whether it's 2 or 4, next year they are able to make the tourney, Jovan. So this year, Queens just getting some experience under their belt, right? I know they didn't pull out that win last night. It didn't really matter. They hung around. They covered. And that's all that matters for us. So maybe next year we'll see the Royals make an actual run in this conference tourney, Jovan. They just keep getting better. Even without Kenny Dye this season, the team was pretty solid. I was impressed.
I don't know. You guys were on stream. I'm not sure if you were watching, but they really did try and blow it.
Yeah.
They really did. A lot of turnovers late. It looked like they were like shaving points or something. They were just throwing the ball all over the place. But
yeah, I mean, we were in the middle of watching. We were watching Trent do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much.
While that was going on.
Also, chat. I don't know what this beef is about. I don't have beef with Mikey.
What's the beef, dude?
If there is beef, I mean, it started with the Notre Dame fades. Guy just doesn't know ball. That's his problem, not mine.
It's facts. Horrendous fades.
Horrendous fades.
Horrendous fades, man.
Horrendous.
What are we doing?
Chat loves some Friday morning beef.
Yeah, I mean, I love Mike. Me and
That's
Mike
for sure.
are good. We just like chirping each other. That's all it is. No beef.
Sure.
No beef.
We beef.
Just
Sure.
stop hating the Irish. Stop hating the Catholics. What a weird thing to do.
I can't believe we didn't have the Irish on the Sharp Report or even a squad ride on Ash Wednesday as well. We're gonna regret that one.
That might have been my fault because I wasn't as confident as I should have been. But hey,
I wasn't either.
Come back from them.
System play.
Yeah.
System play.
Dude, so you're
Let's
gonna
take
go
a peep
to
at the
Catholics versus cocaine in football season?
What?
Yeah, Miami.
Yeah, playing Miami.
I mean,
Miami.
Maybe that might have
Feel
to
like
make
you
that
have to.
trip. I want to go to the USC game in South Bend. That's what I want to do. So if I was going to spend a coin, that's what.
That was the first Notre Dame game I ever went to.
Yeah, that's a
USC
rivalry.
home game. Yeah.
Can we acknowledge the Texas State guy missing all 3 game-tying free throws?
Yeah, that was crazy, dude. Crazy. Bitching.
Yeah, so ODU hit a 3 to go up, I believe 3 with like a couple seconds left, and then there was like a crazy foul late. I wasn't watching, but I was following along the stats while we were on Night Sweats last night. But I guess they fouled him late, and the guy missed all 3 free throws. But I'm assuming after he missed the first one, he was probably just missing them on purpose, right?
Well, the second one.
The second one, you should try to make as well.
The last one, I assume you had. The
last
one, you got no
yes.
choice. But good Lord.
It was their center. Yep. That math checks out. That center probably does not have the best free throw percentage. Okay. Ooh, we got a Geek Goot. You see this, Jovan? We got a Geek Goot and Goots collab in the chat.
Oh, we got a collab, dude.
Yeah. Krabs, I was sad you went on Surge and didn't tell Trent about Wallner. People forget that happened yesterday. Are we going to let that just get swept?
In spring training, too? Like, that was no way we're getting it moving early.
How can I get on Surge? I need to feed winners. Money Talks. I know Trent drops the link to the Surge stream to come on and pitch a play towards the beginning and throughout the beginning of the stream. So if you want to hop on, just watch out for the chat, right? Look out in the chat for the link to the StreamYard. Okay? And yes, Geek Goot, that collab could feed fans. So let me know what you guys end up crafting up.
We need the Geek Goot 2-piece for spring training.
Yep. Shout out the Mounts. Why don't we pull up the sharp reports? Because we can't shout out the Mount too much because everybody who tailed after BTL or during BTL, they lost by the hook, right? It was that plus 9.5 that it closed at. Ended up cashing. Some people got it, some people didn't. So I'm not going to sit here and celebrate. And looking at this sheet, we're not going to sit up here and celebrate, but I want to shout out the chat for weeding out the cake very well last night.
Weed out cake. It's kind of impressive. Shot.
I mean, to be fair, the 3 plays in the squad ride poll last night, I think they still went 2 for 3, which are better than, these sharp report plays. We had 4 plays, I believe. We had the over in NC Central, South Carolina State, which was free. We had UMKC, which is cake. And we don't even need to go into that. We had Queens, which came through, squad ride W. And we had that over in Pacific San Diego, which I thought about for 3 hours yesterday after the show and didn't even end up locking in. And that was free as moss. So I think that game went into overtime as well. So bonus points. Crazy game. So we did go 3 for 4 on the squad ride plays yesterday, which is a W bright spot. Okay. Yeah. So we were dialed in for the squad ride options. Let's keep that going today. All right. Let's not change up shit. Let's lock in. Let's smack another one of these puppies today, chat, before the weekends. All right. I'm going to fire up a Spaces tomorrow as well. Jovan, please feel free, get involved. If you're around tomorrow, I would love to talk some college basketball like we've been doing on early or late Saturday mornings / early Saturday afternoons. Okay. So we'll get that puppy up and moving tomorrow. Jovan, chat's talking about it, so we'll, bring it up right now, I guess, and let it go. But any comments on Jose Alvarado?
Yeah, I mean, we were on stream, so I didn't exactly see how it went down, but he did have 7 in the first half and shot like Trent in 2K in the second half, which was piss. I don't know how he didn't hit, but can't complain too much.
Yep.
I know what sold it, though. Trent came in the chat and he said we got Biombo, Jizrag, then Alvarado, so him mentioning it, that's what happened.
Yeah,
that could have been it.
Can't have it.
Yeah,
that could have been it. Chat, let me know if you guys have any MLB squares for today. And yes, Jonathan Allen released. I wish him all the best. Against him. Okay. And we'll talk about some of these early starts as well, guys, in college basketball. But if you guys have any MLB squares, now is the time. Let me know. Okay. We do have Trevor Williams going against his former team. Nobody's talking about that too much today. He's up for did they take his square off? Oh no, did he get scratched? That's not good. Trevor Williams was supposed to pitch today. And they had a 3.5 strikeout square up there. Now it's gone. Now it's gone. I wonder if he got scratched. I hope not. I'll look into that later. Chat, any nerfy squares, any strikeout squares you guys like early on, preferably? Let me know. Now's the time. Okay. Jovan, they got your guy Jacob deGrom up there.
Oh, yeah. He's making his debut. Trent better be all eyes. Pitching tonight. Nighttime game. Prime time.
Sure. You got Bailey Abear starting up here in 14 minutes, most popular square on the MLB Diamond today. And he's up for 4.5 strikeouts. Wow. That's a lot of Ks.
It's a lot of strikeouts, man.
Yeah.
Geek Good, if you want a prize pitch collab, the POD for me is beat OKs. More than.
Ooh.
Beto K's.
You beat him.
All right, Trevor's back. 2.5 strikeouts against his former team, the Mets, tonight. I don't know. He has not looked too great. He's still shaking the rust off from that injury. I'm not really looking to back Trevor, but interesting angle there against his former team.
Yeah.
Probably not going to sell Jovan on that one, chat. I think we'll just move. Okay. Any early college basketball games you're eyeing right now, Jovan? You got SIU Drake starting up here in about 10 minutes. SIU, shout out SIU. The Salukis coming through last night. Kind of a game winner. We'll count that as a game winner last night. Had a nice little bucket there with a couple seconds left to come through when I already chalked that shit. So WSIU coming through when they were sharp last night. Now we're seeing them up to what? Plus 10.5, plus 11.5 some places on the spread against this Wagon Drake team. This Drake team, guys, if you're not hip, just a team of destiny, and no team really deserves to make it more to the dance than this Drake squads. You got the D2 coach coming up, bringing his whole team with them. They've been great so far this season. 27-3. I mean, that is incredible. And this Drake team, they bounced back from any sort of adversity all season, and they've ripped off 4 straight wins to close out the regular season. And Jovan, they're laying 11.5 and catching some steam up from that 8.5, 9 opener. Any thoughts on Drake and SIU this afternoon?
I just can't help but think a couple different things. First of all, just I guess more large scale. Drake is already disappointed in like their big season where they made a run. Everything crashed out against Miami and they lost that game. I don't really want to fade them too much going into the postseason this year, or I think they're going to win the MVC tournament, so I think they're going to be there once we get to March Madness. So I don't really want to fade them in this spot either. And it also seems that everybody is right back on the SIU train after they were super sharp and came through by a miracle on multiple accounts last night. Now you're getting double-digit points to do so.
Yeah, I kind of like that angle. I don't know if I'm going to get back to the counter here in this game. I'm going to have to let the Bulldogs splooge here.
Yeah, I mean, I like Drake. I don't want to take him just because it's the first game. A lot of points, low-scoring game, but
a lot of pressure.
Just in general, yeah, a lot of pressure.
Dudes, bro, I just watched JT miss a 2-foot putt. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's on me, Goots, but he misses it. He misses that putt.
Yep. So, we got the official Goots collab on Beto, and you're going to make me log in Zach Allen, I'm sure.
Yeah, apparently.
Was that a putt for birdie, Goots?
Yes, that was a putt for birdie.
You son of a gun.
I told you can't putt.
He can't putt. That wasn't a 5-footer, chat, but that was legitimately that was not a 2-footer. That was a 5-footer. That was a 5-foot putt.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
And I got to watch Shane Lowry just pipe drives down the middle. It was always Shane. What are we doing not taking the Irishman?
We got 2 more rounds, brother.
I know.
Shane Lowry's stacking up. Cut on the line last week and go out and win the tournament the next 2 days.
That is true. That is a good point.
Yeah.
Gosh. Shane Lowry's got immense aura.
Yeah, he does.
Out there on the course. He's looking good these days, too. He's looking a little skinnier.
A little thinner, yeah.
He's definitely on some sort of diet.
Yeah.
He's got the fake teeth going, the veneers. I noticed that during his interview yesterday. Could not be more fake. Could not be more fake teeth, but they're not on Rex Ryan level. So we'll give him a pass. The old Irishman, who at one point was probably pushing 350. He was struggling to get around the course, right? He's looking pretty sharp these days. Good for Shane. Definitely a correlation there with his play out there on the course. W Ozempic. I'm sure he's getting involved. Although Shane might be an old school guy. I don't know if he's an Ozempic guy. He might just be old school diet and working out.
He just cut back on the Guinness. That's all it is.
Yeah, I could see that guy putting down a couple pints, right? Big Shane. All right, let's keep moving and grooving. Enough talking about Shane Lowry and his aura, although he has a ton. And shout out Justin Rose as well, who's having a great tournament so far. Good to see the old man back up and moving and back in contention. And that's enough golf talk for the week. Krabs, can you sell your Jonathan Allen jersey? I don't have one. Although good luck to Jonathan Allen. He's a good dude. I'm wishing him all the best. All right, I hope he ends up on a contender and has a good rest of his career. Just didn't work out too well here in DC. Jovan, let me ask you about Stonehill and Delaware. This Delaware team, they're not good. And they're ending the season on a bad stretch as well. They've lost 5 straight games. Now, they have beaten Stonehill this season, Jovan. The one time they played, Stony Brook. They beat Stony Brook by 10 points. And now we're seeing Stony Brook getting 7.5 here on a neutral site in DC. Delaware is catching a little bit of steam, though, about 1.5 points. Do we think?
Yeah.
Do we think it's Stonehill, or do we think Delaware catching steam is weird?
Anytime I see a team that's on as horrid of a stretch as Delaware catching any sort of steam, especially in like a tournament game, it rubs me the wrong way. It's like, as much as I would just want to say, lean into Stonehill because Delaware is playing horrendous right now, and I really don't think the bleeding is going to stop anytime soon, even in this tournament. It's really hard to ignore that, getting steam when they haven't covered since the Vietnamese War.
Yeah. Yeah, if they weren't on this crazy losing streak, I'd be more inclined to fade the Blue Hens here, but Stony Brook is coming off of 2 wins to close out the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, they were on a similar streak prior to the last week.
Yeah. All right, I'll stay off. Good call. Total in that game's dropping. I wouldn't mind the under in that game as well, 146.5. I'm a sucker for some early tournament unders. Lights get pretty bright for some of these mid-majors, right? When it's potentially their last game of the season or last game of their career for some of these seniors. So, yeah, definitely like that under. What about Presbyterian and Radford? This one is looking at me kind of funny. I feel like one of these two teams, either of them, could make a sneak run to win this conference, to be honest with you, this season, Jovan. And I don't know who the play is today, but both teams enter the tournament playing pretty darn good ball. I would lean Radford to get the win. I just don't know if they win by 5. I'm not very comfortable laying them to win this game by 5. They've been in a ton of dogfights so far this season. That's kind of how they play. Presbyterian did beat them the last time they played, though, by 7 points outright at Radford when they were plus 6.5 dogs. So add that to Radford and go ahead and check that box in their column. I certainly would lean that way. Totals dropping as well. Wouldn't mind an under. I do lean Radford. I don't know if I'm going to get to the counter, but I wanted to talk about this game, Jovan, because I think either of these two teams, whoever ends up winning, could potentially end up making a little run here in their conference tourney, in this neutral site tourney. And I probably would lean Radford on the ML.
Yeah. I could see this being a good little sneak live bet game potentially after it starts. First 10 minutes, you get a little closer to a regular playable ML price. And I wouldn't mind taking Radford live.
Mayo out for SIU. Wow. Great find, Jones. And that would make that spread moving make a lot more sense to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to sit that game out for sure. I'll kind of be rooting for SIU because they show a lot of heart. And Drake has just been too good this season, but great story as well. So that's a win-win. Any other early starts that we want to talk about, or do you want to get into the our favorite winners? I think that's all the games starting up for
too much else. Yeah, those are the other ones for the most part.
We'll circle back to that Belmont and Illinois State game. We'll come back to it. I promise. Okay. Chat wants to talk about it. We'll get there. For now, why don't we swing it around and talk about some of our favorite plays for today, chat, on a BTL Friday. Let's lock the fuck in, talk about our 3 favorite straight bets each, and then we'll talk about our 2 favorite prize pick squares as well. Okay? Let's lock in. Let's have an absolute day today. All right? And let's get it started out with a nasty money line parlay. Oh, God. Yep. 2 of the, sharpest looking teams on the board, at least in the, out of the bigger schools that are playing today. I'm taking them both on the ML. Pairing them on the ML at a plus chicken 2-piece bozo pack, Jovan. Surely that goes well. We start out with Illinois, who's up to, I think, 4.5 on the spread here in this game against Purdue. Yep, opened up 3.5 last night, up to 4.5. I like Illinois to get the win. I don't know if they end up covering this game. I would lean that way, obviously, if I'm taking them on the ML. But, Jovan, I thought that was some serious respect, not just for an Illinois team that we've seen get line respect over the last month or so and not always come through. Honestly, they haven't come through more often than they have. But what really stuck out to me in this game is the fact, and I knew this going in because just following college basketball in this conference, Purdue owns Illinois. Illinois never beats Purdue. But if there's one year Illinois changes the tides and flips the script, it could be this season. against this fraudulent Purdue team. And this could be the perfect time to fade them after they just dropped 100 burk on Rutgers' face. 100-71 win. They're coming off of the game before that. They won in more of a defensive battle. They won by 10 against UCLA. So they're coming off of 2 great games, right? But I think we can all agree this Purdue team does not look as dominant as they have in recent years, right? Clearly not a top 5 squad in the country right now. It doesn't help when Zach Edey, graduates and moves on. But this Purdue team, although they're playing well in their last couple and they own Illinois over the last 10 years or so, thought it was super weird seeing Illinois catch some steam here. I know they're coming off a couple solid performances as well, 2 wins as well after they were down in the dumps, but I still want to kind of buy low on the Fighting Illini here, Jovan. Back them on the ML, and then pair them with the Boise State Broncos, a team that I really try to stay away from in prime time, but tonight I simply cannot refuse seeing them catch some steam up from 5.5 to 6.5, 2 of the hottest teams in this conference. 2 teams still trying to solidify their, themselves in March Madness, especially Colorado State. Boise right now, if the season ended, they'd probably be in. Colorado State, I feel like they're still trying to prove their worth and earn themselves a spot in March Madness. Now, Jovan, looking at this matchup, and it's going to be a good one on Fox Sports 1 tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern. Colorado State's won the last 2. I think the Broncos get their lick back here. I'm scared to fade Nick Clifford and co. and a very well-coached Rams team. But seeing Boise State not only open up -5.5, which I thought was some serious respect, even at home, but now catching a little bit of steam as well up to 6.5 against a red-hot Colorado State team that's already beaten them this season, looks a little funny to me. And I want to go ahead and lean into the Boise State Broncos to maybe not cover the game, but to pull out the win at home and to actually solidify themselves in the tournaments, right? They win this game, they're probably officially in. Let's go out there and get it done, Coach Rice. Let's actually go out there and do our fucking jobs when the lights are bright in prime time. Need it.
Sure. I don't know that I'm with you on Illinois, but I can definitely get with you on Boise.
Okay. All right. We'll talk a little bit more about that Purdue and Illinois game when we get to the Prize Pick squares.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. Okay. For now, why don't we swing around to your straight bets? Take a peep at what you're crafting up. How about a team total? Sure.
Yeah. The NBA. Rare.
Sure.
I think his total for the Cavs Hornets game is awfully high, I would say. It's sitting at 234.5, which is interesting for a couple different reasons. The Cavs get high totals because they play fast and their offense has been absolutely lights out this season, obviously. But the Hornets have been on, the biggest offensive slump of I think I've seen quite a few teams in NBA since I've been watching and keeping up from a betting standpoint. So it's been really awful. Obviously, the Hornets are a little healthier now, though. Like, you're getting LaMelo and Bridges in the lineup. Mark Williams is going to be out, though. So, I think there's something about this game that screams points. Am I willing to put my nuts on the table and back the Hornets offense against the Cavs? No. But I do think with, the 16.5 point spread and the lack of rim protection that you're going to have from the Hornets because Mark Williams is out, I don't see how the Hornets defense is stopping the Cavs tonight. And obviously, hot take, it's one of the best offenses in the league, one of the best teams in the league against the Charlotte Hornets, who can't guard a parked car. But I think this is an explosion game for the Cavs, especially after they got held down last game by the Heat. The Heat played them really well with Kalel and Bam, and they slowed them down, kind of forced them to play more in the half court, almost played like Jarrett Allen off the floor in crucial parts of the game, which when you have Kalel and Bam, that can happen. When you have, really no rim protection from the Hornets because Mark Williams is not going to play, it's going to be Nurkic. That's a problem. So, I think the Cavs are going to absolutely splooge tonight. Again, I do like just the regular over in the game. I just really wasn't willing to put nuts on tape for the Hornets to score points because they've just been god-awful. But I think the Cavs are coming in and putting up 130.
Yeah, it's a big old number they're laying.
Yeah.
Jesus. But it is the Hornets they're playing. Are the Hornets officially the worst team in the NBA?
I don't think so.
What do you think?
Are you talking literally or?
Yeah, I mean, we had the toilet bowl the other day. It's the Jazz. Wizards beat them.
Yeah, sure.
Wizards
not record wise, but just worst team in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That the offensive stretch they've been on for a while now is really bad. It's hard to value it with all the injuries in the NBA, but feels like the ceiling, or I guess the floor, is a little higher at times for the Wizards and the Jazz when they're actually playing guys, and the Hornets. I guess the Sixers are probably up there now too when they're not healthy, but It's a little different.
Yep. Okay. Well, let's hope they go out there and they play zero defense tonight. That's what we're going to need.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go cash that Cavs team total. That is a insanely high team total number. But it is the Cavs playing the Hornets. Cavs have been a fucking wagon this season. All right. Let's swing it around, Gootsy. I got another play for the peeps here. A total in college basketball. Had to get the Bradley Braves involved somehow, some way. But instead of taking them on the spread, I'm going to take the under in this game. I thought this total dropping was kind of weird. Down like 4 points from the opener, 136.5, which I already thought was a little bit low. But to be fair, Murray State's coming off a couple straight unders. When these guys played this season, they played twice. Bradley swept them. The second one was really fucking close. A little bit scared about a potential upset here if Murray State locks in and plays some defense. But I do think Bradley, has a chance to pull out the win here on the ML. Definitely scares me, though, that they've won both games during the regular season. But I'm looking at the second matchup where we saw plenty of points. It was an 85-83 shootout. Much, much different from that first matchup. And you'd think after that game soared over, when the total was at 138.5, we'd see the total, somewhere around there, or at least maybe moving up. No, we're seeing this total today for the third matchup this season open up lower and drop. Well, the lights are going to be bright. Neutral site in the NBC. Big time game for both these squads. And we know the lights, when they get turned up bright for Bradley, typically not good things are going to occur for the Bradley Braves. I hate to say it, but when the lights get bright for that squads, they typically find a way to fuck it up. Murray State, on the other hand, this team can't fucking score, but they're athletic. They play some defense. I'm loving this under, and I think it makes basketball sense as well. Although we saw an anomaly, a crazy over between these two squads in that second matchup where both teams had over 80-plus points. I think this total opening up lower than the total in that second game and dropping is pretty fucking telling after we saw that NBA-style game. I think this time around, going to be a little slower, and you're going to see the offenses struggle, especially Bradley at times, unfortunately. This Murray State team has new life. They've had a pretty shitty season, but of late, they've looked much, much better. Do not sleep on this Murray State team and their defense. Probably why that total's dropping.
Yeah. Always down for some MVC unders in that tournament.
Yep. Let's go, Ron. Krabs the Whip Snakes reposted my tweet about Rob Pennell. Fuck yeah, Ron. W's. Keep grinding, my man. All right, swinging around. Let's see what other straight bet Jovan's got for the peeps. How about another over? Sure.
Yeah. Hopefully plays out the same as the South Carolina State one last night, because it is also at the same number. But USF Memphis just clinched the first seed in the American Conference. So I debated which way I wanted to kind of fade them, because I also was kind of thinking about just going straight for USF and the plus 13.5 here. But I just wanted to take the over because USF, they did already play. Game landed on 145. It was 80-65. USF shot horrendous in that game. It was 7 from 29 from 3 at home, which is absolutely abysmal. But it made them really uncomfortable. It was a fast-paced game. They settled for a lot of really bad shots in transition. But they had, a safe floor of offense, I would say. Enough to give me confidence to back them in this game, especially when Jaden Reed's been playing really good basketball as of late. A lot of the guards, I think, are good matchups offensively against a lot of the Memphis guards. So I don't think there'll be too much of a problem of USF keeping up in this game. And when you have the crutch of one of the worst paint defenses on the other side for USF in the American, and Dan Danja, who's going to be a pretty big size mismatch on the inside, PJ Haggerty's going to get his, Tyrese Hunter will be involved, all the guards and all the transition will be involved for Memphis. But when they have a crutch of an interior scoring presence against a team that really doesn't have anything to defend it, I will gladly take Memphis to score points in any game, which is the only reason why I didn't want to just straight up fade them on the spread. But it is a hangover spot, kind of, I guess, because this game really doesn't matter much for Memphis, and they're double-digit favorites, which they god awful when that happens. Penny just almost never pays out when he's a massive favorite. So I think USF's going to keep up. I don't think they do it defensively. I think they do it with their offense on the road here.
All right, back at some points. Hoping for a track meet in USF and Memphis tonight. We know Memphis can do it. I feel like this team is extremely underrated. I don't know. At least they're not getting talked about at all this season. People are probably tired of Penny having some shit squads over the years, but this Memphis team, nobody's talking about them. Nobody's giving them respect. They're sneakily ranked, 16. They're about to get a fucking 4 seed in the tournament, and nobody cares. Nobody's talking about it. Shout out Coach Penny. And shout out the Memphis Tigers. I know they haven't been covering of late, but they're winning. They're doing job, and this team offensively, they're a problem. They are. They're going to be tough to knock out in the tournament. Could be a good sleeper.
Maybe.
Okay.
Better hope they're not on the 5 line.
Yeah.
They're on the 5 line. They're not winning a game.
Okay. We'll swing it around. I got one more straight bet for the peeps here. I'm taking you guys to the ice. How about the Nucks on the ML? Anybody else think this line was a little bit weird? I did, considering Minnesota and their success against Vancouver of late. They've beaten them 4 of the last 5 times they played them, and Minnesota's coming in off of 2 straight W's. So Minnesota, a team with a better record. Minnesota, a team I feel like in the public's eye is at least equally as good, if not better, than Vancouver. At least they're not worse. And I know they've had some struggles of late, but they are coming in off of 2 straight W's. They're on the road now, though. They got to head to Vancouver, a team that's playing just as bad right now, if not worse. They've lost, 3 of their last 5 games, and they have not covered their last 3 games in a row here. Thought it was weird seeing Vancouver, a team that has lost to Minnesota their last 3 times they played them, was catching a little bit of steam here at home, and maybe it's goalie related. But either way, looking at where this line's at right now, Vancouver minus 135, barely over 500. Not playing great hockey right now. Welcoming in a Minnesota team off of 2 straight W's with a significantly better records and a team that historically owns Vancouver. And we're seeing that line move up from plus 100 to plus 115. Something seems off here. And I want to get involved on the ice and back the Nucks, who have respected my coin enough to go back to them. Take them at home on the ML, minus 135.
Yeah, I get down with that. Not that I guess it's a little better of a stretch for the Canucks because they had some days off in between, but a little weird of a stretch where like the Wild aren't on like a full road trip, but it's like this is the 4th of their last 5 that's on the road going out to Vancouver. So iffy scheduling spot. I guess Gustafsson was good for a game. Other than that, he's just been relatively moose. They didn't beat the Kraken because of him. Kind of saved them on that with some really bad turnovers on the other side for the Kraken. So I can always get down with fading Gustafsson in the Wild, I guess, down the stretch. So I could get with you on that.
Okay. All right. Might have to get nasty chat on the ice tonight on a nasty Friday slate. They're not making it easy for us today, folks, but that ain't no problem. We'll find some winners. We'll lock the fuck in. Let's see Jovan's last straight bet here before we get to the prize pick squares.
Sure.
Nerfy Chad, Wild at plus chicken, added to my card. No shot, Nerfy Chads. You're a Minnesota fan. All right.
Yeah, Wild fans bet on their team every game, dude.
Sure.
It's a staple. Couldn't tell you why.
W Chads.
They do.
We got a college baseball parlay down below?
Yeah, a little 2-piece. First one is fading the Irish, unfortunately for Goots. But Wake's loading them up today. We got Logan Lunsford on the mound. We got to fade the Irish Scoots. So Wake teams have been putting it together. I guess sneakily, they're not the flashiest team, especially out of the ACC teams, but they're getting it done. And this Notre Dame team, I really don't like for a bunch of different reasons. I think the offense, even though it's a little deceptive, what you'll see from some of the bottom tier games that they beat up on really shitty pitching, they just have not been able to put together good at-bats against any pitchers that are worth a shit. So I think this is going to be the exact same against Logan Lunsford tonight, who I expect to have a really, really good start. So I don't think Wake's going to have to really show out offensively to win this game. I'm a little more betting on pitching, kind of opposite of what we're doing with Oklahoma and Kyson Witherspoon. But when you have an offense like Wake, the explosion's there, or the explosion potential's there. So I think you have that at home against ND tonight. And then the other one we got on here is UC Irvine, which pretty similar, I guess, scenario you could argue, because they get to play an offense that I think is, I don't know, I want to be kind of careful with what I say, but not a good offense. They're just, when you're UC Irvine, you have all these pitchers on the mound. Really, Friday through Sunday, it really doesn't matter who you have on the mound against this offense. I'm probably going to be taking them for a good part of the weekend. It's just, I don't think really either of these teams, when you talk about the 2 teams that I'm fading in this, have anything offensively against both of these pitchers. So usually, even like on Friday nights, like you get your aces on the mound, but for this specifically, I don't usually bet on a lot of pitching depending matchups because I want offenses that can really explode and make it really easy on the pitchers. But this one, I'm kind of betting on against really 2 bad offenses. So I'm excited for that. I think both these arms that are on the mound are going to carry us to victory tonight. So MLP is like minus 115 riding.
Okay. What time did these puppies start up? Do you remember?
Notre Dame, I think, is at 5 my time, and then UC Irvine is a little later.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's always is.
Bringing up Notre Dame baseball makes me remember Pat Connaughton, makes me remember Jeff Samardzija.
Yep.
Two of my favorite Notre Dame athletes of all time.
Goated.
Pat Connaughton. He said, fuck the Orioles, fuck your first rounder. I'm going to go play ball. Go to go hoop. Yeah, it's actually a crazy story. Good on him for chasing his dreams. He was better at baseball, but he wanted to play basketball. He loved it more, worked his butt off, and became a really good role player. Glue guy, if you will. Now look at him. W. Patty C.
Now we get to fade his guys.
Sure. All right. Is it Wake or ND? The graphic has Wake, like Lightning's asking. It is.
Wake is playing Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's Wake.
It's Wake money line against Notre Dame. UC Irvine money line against Long Beach State.
Yeah, the graphic is correct.
Yeah,
sure. It does look like a Notre Dame logo. I'll give them that. But that is I believe, what is it? A Triton?
Well, no, he said it was Wake.
Yep. All right, let's move and groove. We got some prize pick squares to talk about. Why don't we lock in and talk about these squares after a shit day?
No way Caleb Muse is auto-tailing right now, dude. I swear to God, if I see Texas A&M, I'm out.
Yeah, haven't they been stinking it up on the diamond in college baseball so far?
Horrendous.
He's taking the under. Under 13.5 in Texas A&M and New Mexico State. What time does that one start up?
I would assume regular primetime slot.
Okay.
6 my time, 7 Eastern.
Let me lock that in.
I will say that's not very contrarian, being a Friday starter for one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess you could say the same thing about not expecting Texas A&M to score runs against New Mexico State's Friday night guy. I mean, Turner's not very good.
I don't even see Texas A&M up on the board for me.
It'll probably pop up a little later.
Okay.
They're pretty slow to get lines out. I don't even think like a bunch of totals. A bunch of totals, I guess, just popped up, but they drop lines very slow for college baseball, which is why I guess the last week or so I haven't been able to put like a full platter of plays here because I can't get into the lab because they're dropping them as we're starting BTL. Minus just the regular MLs.
All right, let's talk about some prize pick squares here. They got 1 goals allowed square up there right now, folks. 1.
Yep.
Okay, they're making it easy for us today, Jovan. Jacob Markstrom is up there for 2.5 goals allowed. You know, he's not coming off his best game. He gave up 4 goals in his last game against Dallas, and he's welcoming in a Winnipeg squad tonight that I lost coins on fading last night. Kind of want to fade Winnipeg again, but instead of doing it on the books and losing coins because Winnipeg just doesn't care what's sharp or what's not, they just come through every game, I'm going to fade this team on a back-to-back, and I'm going to take Jacob Markstrom, the Devils goalie. I'm going to take his less than 2.5 goals allowed. I'm going to back him to be on his head tonight and playing great in net against a Winnipeg team that just played last night and put up 4 goals when Philly was in a sharp spot, and we all got burnt. So, yeah, this is my way of fading Winnipeg today instead of losing coins on the books because Winnipeg's one of those handful of teams that just wins every fucking night. We're going to fade their offense and take that nasty prize pick square that's looking at me funny. Okay?
Yeah, I can get down with that. I like the under in this game. It's a
Sure.
back-to-back spot. I guess 3rd straight road game for the Jets. I mean, I definitely don't want to lean to their offense, but they did save Hellebuck for this game, which will probably keep me away from straight up fading them. So I think we get a slugfest. I'm with you on that.
And then Fletcher Lawyer chat. Why don't you take a peep at that square? See how green that puppy is. Extremely green. Fletcher Lawyer, we're fading him today. Has to be done. I don't make the rules. Fletcher Lawyer in Purdue. Loving Illinois today. And Illinois, look, their 3-point defense, it's top 100 in the country. but they're coming off a game where they defended great on the 3-point arc. And I'm looking at, now I got to find them again and search it, but Illinois' 3-point defense, they're coming off a game where they held their opponent to 22% from 3. So although they're top 100, it's nothing to write home about overall for the season, holding their opponents to 32% from 3. They're coming off a great game where they defended the 3 great, and I'm hoping they do that again tonight against Purdue. And I want to fade Fletcher Lawyer. And guys, I mean, if you take a peep at that square, you could probably figure out why I came to the conclusion to maybe lock in this less than. It's maybe the greenest square I've seen all college basketball season. Okay? Squares like this don't grow on trees. It's the second most popular square on Prize Picks. It will be the most popular square by the time this game, tips off. It's getting very close to that danger square. After he had 7 against Rutgers last game, Jovan, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Has to be done. Has to be faded.
Has to.
Okay?
Love when Krabs gets in his bag and fades one of the Lawyer brothers. Just feels like all's right in the world.
Yeah, it just never works, though, typically.
Yeah.
Like they always get the better of me. We'll see what happens tonight. We got Deep Decker coming in resubbing.
If you think that is popular because they're taking the under too, I got some news for you about Prize Picks users.
Putz and Adam, I would literally bet my nutsack that nobody on earth has taken that under. Respectfully. That is just an incorrect chat. But that's okay. We all say wrong things sometimes. Just like when Snack said the goalie square is a moo shit square. We all say things we don't mean sometimes. That's okay. Loving the Fletcher Lawyer fades. And we're back in Jacob Markstrom and the Devils against the Red Hot Jets. We'll see how it goes. Sure. Prime, you're heading to Vegas this weekend, huh? I'm jealous, brother. Need a vintage Hail Mary for the weekend, he's saying now. Sure. Yeah, I don't know, Prime. We could maybe try to craft something up in that Spaces tomorrow for college basketball. I just don't know if there's enough options. Okay?
There could be some options.
Open spot Hail Mary. Okay. Prime.
Dude.
Good luck out there, Prime. Remember, no such thing as a lock. Don't lose all your money. Okay? All right. Those are my 2 squares. Fletcher Lawyer fades and backing Jacob Markstrom to be on his head. Sure. Jovan, let's go to your squares and see what you're crafting up today, my man.
Start off in the WCC tournaments. We got Pepperdine Portland squaring up today. And Supergoat Todorovic is taking the floor. I wanted to take something regarding him today before I even looked at the squares. Then I see a very interesting double bagel square for a couple different reasons, Krabs. Todorovic has been, he's their rock leading scorer, one of the best players in the WCC that, casual, watchers don't know about. But he's only had 1 game where he hasn't even attempted a 3 this season, Krabs. And it happened to be against the same Portland team just about a week ago, which I think is incredibly odd. He's played him twice, and he didn't hit one in the first game either. He took some, but this is the only team he hasn't hit one against with multiple matchups, which I think the square being up, we talked about some other squares that resembled that, like the George Basin guy in the past week, where attempts were also a part of what made it weird. So now with this up in a game that I also like points, even though Portland, schematically, they're really bad 3-point defense. They're awful pretty much everywhere because they're the Portland defense that gives up 1 million points a game. They're bad at the rim, but they try their best to kind of cut off everything in the middle. So it makes sense that you would give up more looks for 3. And I think after the way that first game went for Todorovic, I think he's going to be more comfortable getting some looks from 3 as opposed to what he did in that one just about a week ago. So I think there's a pretty clear reason that this one's up. But again, I like the game environment for it too. So I'm taking him to hit 2. Then Barrett Hayton, I'm taking today. Utah's playing the Blackhawks. They moved up Barrett Hayton to the second line, where he's been a lot better, a lot more aggressive as well. And then he's also on the first power play now, which when you're playing the Blackhawks team that is not only a bottom 5 penalty kill unit in the league, but they also give up a ridiculous amount of attempts right from the middle on the power play or on the penalty kill. This is perfect for Barrett Hayton. This is exactly where he gets involved. So I think he's going to be a big part of everything. I don't even know. Usually I have a preference of where I am trying to get the point from the guy, whether it's 5v5 or if I'm taking a guy like this, on the power play. I think he's going to be everywhere tonight. I think he's going to be involved with all of his line mates on both of them. So taking him to get a point and stay hot.
All right. Two crazy looking squares, dude. A guy who 99% of people haven't heard of, and then a logo who it took me a little while to figure out who the fuck you were talking about. Barrett Haight.
Utah.
New logo. Yep.
Yeah.
Did they ever figure out the mascot situation for the Utah Hockey Club yet? They're still trying to work that out. Didn't they get cock blocked about the Yetis or something like that? Weren't they not allowed to be the Yetis?
They've been through the cycle of each of those a bunch.
Yeah, they're like down to their final 3, and they're gonna do like a fan vote or something at some point.
Yeah, I feel like they've narrowed it down like 5 different times. There's been like a copyright issue 5 different times. There's been a rights issue like 5 different times, and we're just sitting here waiting.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind them just keeping it the Utah Hockey Club. Reminds me of the Washington football team. Right? Simple, effective, tells a story. It lets you know what's going on, lets you know what the team does. Effective, efficient, limited words. It sounds pretty good. Wonder where they got that idea from. The geniuses over there in DC. That's probably who they got that idea from. Sure. Utah Yetis would have been valid. Yeah, that would have been the sick name. That rolls off the tongue. That sounds like it's meant to be.
Yeah, it would have been
Utah Yetis. What did the Yeti Cooler Company come in and say, wait a minute, we're not letting you have this one? If that's what happened, that's bullshit. And that's ridiculous. All right. W Squares, Jovan. Getting involved on the ice, getting involved in the WCC tourney back in Stefan. Go out there and bang 2 threes. Why not? Sure. All right. Let's keep moving and grooving. Goots, am I seeing Justin Thomas sitting at -1 right now?
No, that's not right.
Is it worse?
Just move on.
Dude. I'm gonna close the stream down. Not our stream, but the ESPN Plus golf stream. And go and close that? Sure.
Jeez.
Okay. Oh, Nelly. That's what I get for trying to get involved in golf, trying to be cool, trying to dabble in the golf game like all you guys do in chat, saying you're cashing all these big time winners. It was never JT. He's completely lost his fastball. Doesn't have it. That's what you get for trying to fit in, chat. Try to lock in a golf bet. Shit. All right, Jovan. I know the slate is not as juicy as it's been in recent days today. Okay. Wouldn't mind taking a quick look at the CBB slate and just seeing if anything is sticking out to you. Any games are worth mentioning. We do not have to go over all of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know we got a big Spaces tomorrow, big CBB day tomorrow, but there are a couple games we haven't gotten to yet that I want to throw your way. Okay. I think we start out with Illinois State and Belmont. This game's making my brain hurt, man. You got Illinois State, the Redbirds, against this Belmont team who is playing pretty good ball right now. Both these teams are. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. When they played earlier this year, I think they played early on this season. They did in early December. And Belmont won in a crazy high-scoring game. And then later, we saw Illinois State win in a 3-point game as well. So they split the season series. This line, Jovan, has been moving around back and forth, flipping from dog to fave more than any other line I've seen today. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know if there's injuries going on. I don't know if it's just because this is a pretty even matchup. It's going to be a great game, guys. 3:30 p.m. as well, so it starts up relatively soon. I don't know what's going on with the line, but it keeps bouncing around. It keeps flipping. It keeps changing. And I kind of wanted to get involved and back Illinois State. I just don't know if I can get there. I want your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know that I can get there either. I mean, it took everything from Illinois State, to win that game at home or earlier this season. I mean, it seems like everything went right. They shot well from 3, even though the numbers don't look like it towards the end because, I don't know, they shot pretty poorly in the last handful of minutes of the game. But all throughout the game, they were shooting incredibly well, put together great offense, really weren't defending all that well, and still came out on top. I don't know that I would like that to happen again. Maybe it's a little biased, I guess, not recency bias, but brand bias from the Belmont teams we've seen in the years past where they've been significantly better, just a much more high-powered offense. But I do trust their offense in this spot to do what they should have done, before to Illinois State and defend a little better. So I don't know that I can get to it.
Okay. Chat's getting involved. talking about some college basketball. Love to see it. Can we touch on VCU? Yeah, we'll talk on that game. Bradley, Illinois, Loyola, Maryland, UNLV. Dead Larry Bird likes. Prime likes UNLV tonight as well. We'll talk about that game too. Okay. For now, let's keep moving and grooving. Pick out some games that are looking at me kind of funny. Ohio and Toledo. This game is confirmed looking at me funny. And I almost put in the Sharp Report. Couldn't do it because I can't hit a fucking bet to save my life on this Ohio team. I don't know what it is, man. When I bet them, they
Krabs,
stink. When I fade them, they're
You
great.
might just have to stay out of the MAC, man.
Yeah, that's what a coward would do. Or a wimp or a weak-minded person. Sure. Yeah, they would. You think I'm getting out of the fucking MAC? Give me a break. This fight has just begun. Jovan, we got a lot of work to do here, and I could use your help. Ohio comes into this game, I don't know, kind of up and down. Pretty much how it goes is whenever I bet them, they lose, and when I fade them, they win. To give a quick breakdown here, quick recap. Right now, Ohio's coming off a loss outright to Eastern Michigan, and you can goddamn bet your ass I was on them -9.5 in that game when they lost outright. Sure. I was on the ML in a greaser. I was on the spread. Yep, I was. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm an honest man. I'm telling you right now, face to face. I was on it. They blew it again. They lost outright to Eastern Michigan. Are you fucking kidding me, Jovan? Now this Ohio team, that, by the way, the only thing they're good at is winning games at home. That's all they do. They win games at home. That's great. They're hard to beat at home. They're on the road tonight, Jovan, and they opened up favorites against Toledo. And I know Toledo's lost 4 games in a row. They could lose 100 games in a row, and they still should be favorites in this game against Ohio, who's quail shit on the road. This is Toledo we're talking about here. They could lose 100 games in a row, and Jovan, it doesn't hurt that they've literally beaten Ohio 7 straight games. They haven't lost to Ohio since 2021. And Ohio's a favorite on the road. This game gets me fired up. I think it's the Bobcats.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be taking Toledo, but I don't know. I don't think it's that weird that they're favored on the road. Toledo is as bad as they've been recently. I mean, they're 8-4, 8-3 at home, and Ohio's only won 3 games on the road all year. I mean, the splits, it makes it a little difficult to have that much suspicion about the line with both the teams' home and a road splits, but you are 100% right. I mean, Toledo's owned them for a while, and now they're just playing horrendous basketball. So maybe they're just one of the teams where the bottom's dropping out and there's no looking up for the end of the year or at the end of the year.
Ohio gets a lot more respect in the Ken Palm still than I was expecting. Toledo is 250. Ohio is 187. These teams have identical records overall this season. It's a pretty big gap. And that could have something to do with Ohio being favorites on the road here.
Yeah.
I still think it's weird as shit. Maybe Ohio's just not that team this year. Maybe Ohio was just picked to win the conference and their goal is just to steal everybody's money this year and not actually win or do anything cool for the school or the kids. It's just to steal everybody's money who's betting on them. Maybe that's what it is.
It could be, yeah. I'm just because I remember we had this conversation. I forget what game it was about a little earlier in the season where we were talking about a weird line with Ohio on the road, and we were talking about how bad they were then, and they're still bad now. The only games they've won on the road, they won by 2 against Central Michigan on the road, didn't cover. They won by 9 on the road against Buffalo, didn't cover. And then the only game they did cover on the road, they beat Bowling Green by 5, and they covered by the hook. So they've been really bad otherwise.
Yeah, man, I just can't stop looking at Ohio. 3-9 on the road on the ML this season. -1.5 against a team they haven't beaten since I was in high school, college. Crazy.
Yeah.
Richie, I don't know if I can resist. I might have to get involved on the Bobcats there. Might have to get
I
involved.
respect a hard play.
Yeah, JT Birdie, sure. Okay, we got some life. W's. We got Matt Gauthier coming in, dropping a resub as well. W. Matt Gauthier. We appreciate you, Beast. Just dropped in. Jovan, do you have any other plays on the college diamond besides the money line parlay? He's
I
asking.
will. I need to get in the lab for that because again, they're just
Okay.
now dropping a lot of the totals, a lot of the lines, so we can talk about them
Sure.
towards the end.
Sure. Any thoughts on Dayton VCU?
I mean, it's a lot of points, Krabs.
It's a lot of points that you typically don't see in a game involving Dayton and VCU. Typically, these spreads are pretty fucking tight, to be honest with you. For the last 5 times these teams have played, the spreads have been 3.5 or shorter, right? So typically, these are 2 of the best teams in the A10. They're typically fucking dogfights. These are great games. They're low scoring. They're gross. Weird stuff happens. Turnovers, defense, presses, just everything you love in college basketball. Missed free throws, the whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah.
The whole shebang. Well, I'm looking at this matchup today, Jovan, and I got eyes on the A10. Fucking love this conference. VCU. They are a wagon. This VCU team. I know they've been good in recent years. I know they've even went on tournament runs back in the day. That was like actually when I was in high school or even before in middle school. It's been a while though since we've seen this VCU team do something, but they are playing with a chip on their shoulder this season. They are playing like the best team in the A10, and they're playing like a team that could do something in March. They've impressed me a ton. Max Shulga, getting him to return, matching, price match guarantee with Kentucky or wherever he was about to go to get him to come back to Richmond and keep playing for VCU and the Rams. That was massive. That's literally the difference. It's crazy. Jovan, they're finally starting to get some line respect, I guess is my point here. Circling back, bringing it back to the state matchup. They're starting to get some line respect. They're starting to lay some numbers this season, second half of the A10 schedule. They're laying numbers that I typically haven't seen in this conference in a while, right? And deservingly so. This team is a wagon. They're dominating every team they play. Well, you know who else is starting to heat up right now, Jovan? The Dayton Flyers. Dayton Flyers are starting to get going here. And although I think they're frauds and shells of themselves compared to their last couple seasons when they've been a good ranked team, I wouldn't be shocked to see Dayton keep this game within double digits. And although the spread looks fat, the spread off the rip, just first glance at this game tells me it's VCU. To win this game by 10 plus against a big name, blue bloods for this conference in Dayton, that's a big old spread, right? I agree. But back in my mind, VCU, best team in this conference, finally starting to get line respect. Dayton, not getting much respect at all this season, having been great to the bettors this season, but they're starting to turn it around. They've won 4 of their last 5, 3 in a row. I might think this could be just an old-fashioned close matchup, and we see Dayton keep it close, but I'm not paying to find out.
Yeah, I don't want to pay to find out either, but I do have to bring it up because we were talking about the look-ahead spot for both these teams, I guess more so VCU, and it came through when Duquesne really should have been a lot closer than it was, but Duquesne barely snuck out the cover at the end. The game was neck and neck all the way through for the most part. And if we're taking the look-ahead spot, they're looking ahead to something. I feel like less times than we should follow up with the game that they're actually looking ahead to. So like now when this looks like, I guess, the most obvious, like this line is off of the day, and you had a team that just had their little letdown spot prior to this game, I wouldn't mind paying to find out. Talking myself back into it.
Yeah. God, if that's a bad game for VCU, winning by 9 at Duquesne, a team that owns them, props to them. And to be honest with you, Jovan, that has been a bad game for them this season. That's how well they played.
It wasn't a terrible game. It was kind of the non-blowout that I think a lot of us saw coming.
Yep. I mean, this VCU team has been impressive, man. 19-10 against the spreads. 13-4 at home against the spreads. Jeez.
I saw chat 50 to 1 to make the Final Four.
Wow. They're also undefeated at home this season on the ML. 15-0.
Hard to win at the Siegel Center.
Unbeatable at the Siegel Center. Crazy.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'm now off the Rams. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I got a weird feeling in my nads about Dayton Flyers keeping this game close for no fucking reason.
Fair.
For no reason. Kent State is laying 11.5 points to an Eastern Michigan team tonight, Jovan, that's been on
Krabs,
fire, playing like the
stop.
best team in this conference.
Stop. Not letting you even have it this time. I can't.
Oh, well, you're lucky they already beat Eastern Michigan once this season by 40. So if that wasn't the case, I'd be pushing a little bit harder.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Move on, huh, Godsent? Yep. Yeah, it's probably in all of our best interest to leave Kent State at the door. Okay, just let that off. Let that off to the side. Can't be getting involved.
Can't.
All right.
Just gonna have it, dude.
Any late night Geysermans and CBB before we diversify and start talking about the other leagues and some of the professionals?
I guess not too late, but I cannot fathom now. North Dakota State is still -3.5 with Jackson Money not playing for, I think, the whole tournament, but at least today. That looks like the most, I guess, obvious looking. I guess this wrong team is favored now because that South Dakota team is good, and I thought this was going to be one of the better games of that tournament, one of the more interesting games of that tournament, where either team who wins is capable of making a run. But when you're missing one of the best players in the conference, the guy who averages 20 points a game, and you're catching a little bit of steam up to 3.5 now, that's unfathomable. Because I mean, the books know it as well as we do.
Weird. It's certainly weird. Now, it probably helps that they've beaten them twice this year. But, I mean, that's their best player out, and they should not be favored. So,
yeah,
I 100% agree. I don't know if I can bet it because they've swept in this South Dakota team already this season, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, don't know.
That might be what keeps me off of it. It's certainly weird as shit that line has not moved.
Oh, it has moved. Weird. It's moved their way, which is really weird.
What'd you see it at this morning?
2.5, 3. No, I guess it's pretty consensus 3.5.
Yep. Okay. Pepperdine. I want some Pepperdine action.
Pepperdine. And there's Trent talking about Gardner-Webb. Fading High Point first game of the tourney is a decision. Certainly a decision.
All right. Why don't we take a peep over at the association real quick?
Sure.
Make sure we got all of our bases covered. Any thoughts on OKC -2.5? I'm assuming their entire team is out. I saw the Trent tweet.
Yeah.
They've won a bazillion games in a row, but they're still favorites against Portland. I kind of wanted to buy the bad news and take them again, but they do own the Trailblazers. And they've beaten them, I believe. Let me pull it up so that I'm not telling you guys bullshit. They have won the last at least 5 games in a row.
To be fair, I feel like that probably applies to a lot of the NBA. So the Trailblazers have been dog meat. They're still like as good as they've been in a couple of years post Dame, but I'd probably say the same for a bunch. I don't know if I can get to the counter with buying all of the bad news, but definitely wouldn't be taking the Blazers, everything considered.
Yeah, if OKC hasn't, had Portland's number over the last couple of years, I'd be more inclined to buy the bad news and take them. But the fact that they are on a crazy win streak against them, I'll probably stay off and let that one play out.
Fair.
That is some respect for OKC, though, without their entire team. Still as faves, but they are home and they are probably the best team in the NBA consensus. So I guess they get a little bit of
one of the only times, I guess, in a bit maybe that Trent is actually able to straight bet the Thunder ML.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that'll be on the card just for the bit of it.
Is he locking him in?
He's probably not going to say so now, but once we get there, he's probably locking him in.
Okay. Any other NBA looks? Any thoughts on Minnesota laying 5.5 to your Heat?
Yeah, the Heat have been sneakily fighting a lot lately.
They have.
And
yeah,
they've covered a bunch of games in a row. They've played really tough against the Cavs, which I thought was pretty impressive. Shout out Eric Spoelstra, schematic masterclass for a lot of that game. And Terry Rozier wasn't betting on himself. They probably would have won that game, but he's terrible. So, I mean, all things considered, the way that they've been playing, I know the T-Wolves have picked it up as of late against some really bad teams too, but 5.5 at home seems a little enticing, I would say. So I don't know if I can get to the counter with betting the Heat today.
Okay. All right. They've been doing job enough of late. Maybe we'll leave that one off to the sides. Any thoughts on the Knicks staying out west? They were a sharp, short dog last night. They didn't come through. And now they're staying out there. They're playing the Clippers after losing to the Lakers last night in OT.
I might have to bet the Knicks tonight, Krabs.
Yep.
Just didn't come through last night. Now they have no Jalen Brunson because he hurt himself, and I think it was overtime last night. He's going to be out. Somebody else will probably be out because they're sitting on a back-to-back. The Clippers just came through when the whole world faded them because they were in a tough, I guess, what was it, back-to-back scheduling spot because they're playing the Pistons right after they lost to the Suns the day before that. So, like, the quote-unquote sharp play, makes sense play here is the Clippers minus the points to just rail the Knicks after the Knicks didn't come through last night. So, whatever sharp with the Clippers, they might as well be Ohio State. Take the opposite, buy bad news. I'm going to have to do it some way, somehow.
Yeah. Music to my ears. I was hoping you were going to back the Knicks. I kind of want to get involved. After people were on them last night, got burned. Who wants to go back to them again? And that spread is up to 7.5, 8 with some injury concerns. So pretty weird. And I kind of want to back the Knicks as dogs by the bad news. And coming off that back-to-back L last night in OT. Yeah, I'm probably going to get there. Okay. Clippers never deserve a fat spread, Richie's saying. Is Cat going to score 40 tonight? Who knows if he's even going to play?
Cat is going to muck, dude.
If he plays.
Guaranteed green. I would assume he's playing. I don't think he's the one to be worried about.
Okay. We got the Geek Goot POD. First leg is green. Sure. W Geek Goot.
That was the first leg. I thought none of those started yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Gallon and
we got Geek Goot propaganda. Geek Goot propaganda in the chat. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. He said Gonzalez.
When was that said?
Was that a sneak Geek Goot play?
It might have been. Us like
said it was
5
me.
different
I'll
PODs.
take it if it's green. That was certainly my play. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Jovan, any thoughts on the ice tonight?
Not too much. I mean, there's a couple fatter favorites. I don't really care to be involved. I guess the only thing that kind of stood out is the Blues, which I don't want to bet them, but anytime they're on the road hanging around this number, the other team, especially when it happens to be a pretty trendy dog or a team that people like to bet, and you have like a favorable scheduling spot where they've been playing somewhat decent, fading the Blues is a death wish. So I can only assume there will be some sprinkles across the board on the Ducks plus 125, 130 tonight. Whenever that is the case, the Blues come out and Bennington looks like Jordan Bennington and the greatest goalie of all time, and the Blues just magically put it together and are literally Team Canada. So Blues are probably winning tonight. That's what I came away with.
Okay. Yeah, they're catching some steam on the road as well. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Chat, any hockey plays that you were looking to talk about? Richie likes the Blackhawks versus Utah back-to-back and playing unusually well. Okay. Yeah, lads likes the Pens tonight. Yeah, I thought about the Pens buying the bad news, I guess, after they just traded one of their players to the Caps. Kind of shows that they might be.
Yeah, I was going to say they've traded some guys, and there might be more coming in the next handful of hours.
Ooh.
So that's the one problem. Like if you're buying bad news, you are going to be buying bad news come game time. Okay. A lot of it.
Okay. Maybe wait that one out then. A little closer to puck drop.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Chat, I want to make sure we spend plenty of time today crafting up a squad ride W with the slate being kind of quail. I want to make sure we're not rushing today's squad rides and would love to get the poll up and moving kind of ASAP and take a peep at our options if you guys are cool with it, making sure we're not rushing the squad ride here on a Friday. Okay?
Sure.
Let's run it. Goodsy, if you don't mind. I want to see that damn train. let's cash tonight, chat. It's been a good week so far. Okay, good week so far, but I did not hear no bell. We're not done yet. We're not getting fat, happy, complacent. We're locking in today. We're finding a squad ride W or at least a couple options for you guys. Okay, let's lock in. Let's look at some of our best options for today. Jovan, do you have a preference for that college basketball total over the NBA total?
I think I like
Team total?
the team total a little bit more. I don't know where
Cavs
your
team
head
total?
was at. Head was at for that. But yeah, total in that game is moving up now, which again I think is a little odd. It's punching versus punching bag, but the Hornets haven't been able to score themselves for shit, which I think is
Right.
odd. And I still lean the Cavs to beat the hell out of them in the game. So that's the way I think it's going to happen.
Okay. I'm down to put that Cavs team total in here.
Sure.
I'm in. We'll go Cavs team total over 125.5. I'm going to scroll through the CBB board and see if there's anything else we brought up that could be utilized here. Ohio, probably not.
Yeah. Dude, Trent needs to get a grip in the chat, man. It's unbelievable. Actually unreal.
Yeah, not many things sticking out. So I think we got to stick with some of our options here in the sharp reports and maybe go Canucks.
Yep.
Against Minnesota. Okay.
Wow. Goots Nuggets.
Let me go peep that real quick again. Memphis USF over.
4 straight unders for the Bulls, and I don't know how that Memphis UTSA game went under. I was debating taking that on or that over too in the last game. Memphis didn't know how to touch basketball, didn't know how to shoot a basketball. This could be the game.
Total went under last time they played this season, and now the total's at the same exact number.
Yep. The game that
Is this
doesn't
senior
matter
night
for
for Memphis?
Yeah. It's the last game of the year.
Okay. All right. Let's hope the fucking coach's son or the walk-on's going in late doesn't cost us some coins here, but that's the only thing that's scaring me at all about that. Everything else is good to go. We'll put it in there.
Yeah, I kind of think the game is going to be close, though. So that's why I'm definitely fine with it. Plus, I mean, I think the important players are seniors, too. Like Colby Rogers. The seniors are like Colby Rogers, Jordan, Tyrese Hunter, Dane Danger, Musa Cisse. It's like they're all the important players for the most part.
All right. Chat, why don't we go 3 plays, 3 winners for today? Keep it quality over quantity for the squad ride poll and finish up this week strong with another W. If you guys don't mind, come over to the Twitch chat if you're watching on YouTube and get your votes in. Okay, we got a poll up here for the next couple minutes. Get involved. Every vote counts. Every vote equals the same. Please get involved. All right, don't just sit there and watch the poll go by. Get involved. All right, click the right button. We got 3 plays, 3 winners. Cavs team total over 125.5. We've got the Canucks on the ML on the ice. Sure. And how about USF and Memphis over 151.5 on senior night? All right. 3 plays, 3 winners. Get involved. A diversified portfolio today. You got NBA, you got NHL, and you got college basketball. Sure.
Yeah. Love that.
Love it. Get involved, chat. Don't just sit there. Click the right button, please. Just like you did yesterday. You weeded out the cake perfectly yesterday. I mean, my goodness. Not our best day on the sharp reports, but you guys clicked the right button and you selected our beloved Queens. Let's see what you guys end up selecting tonight. All right, get involved. You got a couple minutes left. Click the right buttons. Right now, it's looking like the Cavs team total over. Like chat wants to go to the association. Sure. All right.
Sure.
Clicking those buttons. What's going on with this college basketball game you guys are sweating out right now? Is it down to the wire? You guys are geeking me in the chat, going back and forth. Okay.
It's for the spread, though. He's sweating the spread. It was what, 14.5? Oh, yeah, now it's cooked.
Yeah, 15.5, 14.5. It's probably cake now. I see 21 points.
Yeah,
I see 21 points with 29 seconds left.
Just what? I don't get the thought process of just waking up and taking the plus sign. He never takes plus signs, but he wants to take a plus sign with guys that he's never heard of before. We can't name one person on court.
Against High Point, who's just an absolute mid-major wagon now.
Yeah. That's the one time he wants to lock in a plus sign, dude.
Wagon. Jovan, my good friend Braden Taylor, getting the start for the Rays.
Now he's dropping Delaware on feed.
Delaware on feed?
Yeah, he said he's on tilt.
Oh, Stony Brook ML Max. Jeez.
God, Delaware's terrible, but why are they getting that respect?
I know that could be sharp from Trent, but you just know there's Stony Brook's gonna find a way to be the Warriors.
Yep.
Stony Brook race to 10 max.
You find a book with that lineup. Beers on me this weekend.
Do they actually
not
have
finding
it up? I wonder if they have it up.
All right. Had the over, it peaked at over 175 and didn't hit normal line of 153.
Bruh.
Or did they just stop scoring there at the end?
Green Book, Stony Brook race to 10, plus 120.
Wow, they do have it.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Stony Brook won last 2. Delaware lost 6 in a row. Weird one. Yeah. Certainly weird. Certainly weird. Don't disagree. You won't see me fading that play.
Yeah.
It's probably going to lose. All right. Get those votes in chat. You got about 1 minute left to lock in your vote for the squad ride poll. Looking like it's going to be the Cavs team total over. All right. But 3 plays, 3 winners. I'll tell you what. The Canucks are getting absolutely swept on the ice.
I was about to say, the Canucks, you're usually pretty sharp on the ice. Just that's such a Krabs get swept play. And they show up in their air.
Yeah, let's hope they show up tonight. The Canucks at home. They've respected my coins pretty well. I know they're coin stealers, though, a little bit for some who might be a little hesitant, but they've respected my coins. All right, let's hope the Cavs respect our coins tonight as well. Looks like they're going to win the squad ride poll, along with USF and Memphis. Let's hope the offenses are fired up and we get a good performance out there on the court tonight. Let's get some points going. Let's get some Cavs points going as well in what should be a blowout, hopefully. Or at least it closes a blowout. Hopefully not early on, but late. So the Cavs keep their foot on the gas, and that total is creeping up overall in that game. So good to see. Let's hope we get some points tonight in Charlotte. Okay? Preferably from the Cavaliers. All right, let's hope the best team in the NBA stays hot. All right?
Yep.
W play Jovan, W stream today, W Goots as well. Can we get some W Goots is up and moving? Rumor has it we ended the round with a birdie for JT. So although it was not a great game or great round for him, he closed and finished strong. So he's keeping a minute. All right, still got some life there. W Goots, WJT, W Fruity at the Clippers-Knicks game tonight. Y'all have anything for me to sweat? Fruity, I feel like after everybody was on the Knicks last night in a sharp spot and they didn't come through against the Lakers in OT, it's probably the Knicks again as dogs on the roads. We were just talking about that a couple minutes ago. I might end up finding myself at the counter with that play as well. I'm kind of liking the Knicks, a team that has not beaten any good team so far this season when everybody got burned last night. Backing them on the road tonight, staying out there in Cali. All right, maybe back to Big Bodega and the Knicks on the spreads. Okay? W's. Chat, WBTL today, WBTL this week. Stick around for the surge stream. And we got the Cavs team total over for the squad ride tonight. Let's make it 4 wins this week. Why not us? Okay? Catch you guys tomorrow or Monday, same time, same place.